Hello, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to a new video. My name is Olauton Atilade. I'm a beauty portrait photographer based in Lagos, Nigeria. So in today's video, I am going to be showing you how I am going to edit this image right here to what it is right here on the second side. So stick with me. And if you're new to the channel, you can please do subscribe and like this video if you find it educating, and you can share to your friends and colleagues who might probably need this video. Thank you. Okay, so I am going to reset this file because I've done some few editing on it in Capture One, which is the raw processing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to reset this totally. This is the reset button. So I reset it to what I shot it. So this is straight out from camera. You can see what it looks like. This was shot with Sigma 85mm, Sigma Art 85mm f1.4 lens with Canon EOS RP, and this was shot at f7.1. So you can see that we have a lot of details right here. You can see even when I zoom in, you can see the details on the skin. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to crop this image to Instagram size, which is 4:5. So I can even take out this unwanted part of the dress. So 4:5. Then I'm going to move this up. I don't want too much of headroom, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it this way to cut out the blacks totally. Then I'm going to pull this down a bit. Yeah. So this is cropping. After cropping, so what I'm going to do is I like what the exposure is looking like already, but I can just add a bit more to it. And then I'm going to drop my highlights, then open up my shadows. Yes, so this is it. Then drop down my whites, then drop down my blacks as well. For opening up the shadow is quite too much. Okay, so I'll go with that again. I drop my highlights first, then open up shadow a bit, then drop down my whites, and drop down my blacks too a bit. Yeah. So it had a bit of contrast to the image I have here. So this as well, I'm going to pull this in. Yes, and then I'll come to this color editor, and I'm going to come to color editor, and I'll come to skin tone, and I'll pick this eyedropper tool. I'm going to select a place on the skin. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to match the colors of the skin properly. So now what I am doing here is I am matching the hue, then the saturation on the skin. I'm fine with the lightness. Then for this, I'll increase the hue of the skin totally. Yeah. Okay, so this is what we have before and after. So we see we've gotten more details in our shot. And so what I am going to do now is I'm going to jump right into Photoshop to edit this picture right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on edit with Photoshop, and I'm going to say edit variant. So this is gonna open up in Photoshop. Then we'll have to do our skin work in Photoshop. So this is our image right here. I'm going to zoom in. So what I do first is I duplicate my background layer. Then I am going to have my image in a new layer. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to come to my healing brush tool. Then I'm going to have this on soft hardness on 14 or 15%, below 20. So I am going to click on current layer. I'm going to have a new blank layer as well. So what I'm going to do is current and below. So I'm going to sample from a place that I like. Then I'm going to just brush over. Another way you can do this is come to this place and click Spot Healing Brush Tool. So with Spot Healing Brush Tool, you don't have to sample anywhere. You just click and Photoshop will automatically. So I tend to use this most of the time because with the new recent updates of Photoshop, it samples proper part of the skin that I like. Yeah, so I'm just going to speed this up a bit. So our model has a nice skin. So what I am going to be taking out won't be much on this part. And okay, so this is what we've done on our. You can see we've not really we didn't take out a lot because the skin is looking good already. So what I am going to do here is I am going to come to my beauty retouch and I am going to run the frequency separation action. So I'm going to be using a Gaussian blur radius of 5 because that's what I like to work with. So then I'm going to delete this correcting tones layer and duplicate my low frequency layer. So I'll start brushing. So I have my mixer brush setting on wet 15, low 20, mix 20, flow 20, and I am using a blank brush. So what I will do first is I will zoom into closer extent so I can see my image properly. Then I am going to start brushing. Okay, and don't forget this sample layer should not be checked because you're only working on one layer, which is the low frequency copy layer. So by the way, this image was shot with the light setup is a beauty dish, a 55 cm beauty dish, an AD600, and a backlight on a cone and a grid that has AD200 on. Yeah. So before the end of this video, I am going to show you what my light setup looks like. Yeah. I'm going to brush the neck as well. So this is what our image looks like after brushing. This is what it looks like after brushing. Then I'm still going to just brush to where I feel like needs to be better. Okay, so this is what it looks like before and after. So I am going to still come to my high frequency layer and click on my close stamp tool, then to see if I have any other detail I want to remove. So I feel personally the eye line below our eyeball is too much, so I'll just take it out a bit. So, okay, so I'll do the same thing for the other side. You can decide to leave this, but just for just my own personal preference, I would like to take it off. So I'll look for other side where I need where the textures are not matched properly. So I'm going to check, and by the way, the model has a very good skin. Yeah, then I'm going to zoom out. So this is what we have. So the last thing I'm going to be doing is for the part of the eyelid where I removed some lines. So I'm going to brush that part to make it to mix that part properly. Yeah, okay. So we're done with our frequency separation. Then what I'm going to run now is my dodge and burn. So on the dodge and burn, what I basically do is I just do dodge and burn contouring, not micro dodge and burn. Yeah. So I'm going to come to my brush tool and I'm going to reduce my flow to 1%. So for this, what I am going to first do is I am going to uncheck the frequency separation because I want to see how the skin looks like before I started brushing, before I mix the colors. So I can return any of the highlights or the contours that I have messed with. So what I'm going to do here is dodge is to lightening and burn is to darken. So I am going to first dodge. Okay. So I am going to, so if you're black, if you are working on layer mask, kindly check if the black is on top of the black, of the white here, that means you're brushing black on black. But we want to review, we have to brush white on black. So I have my white on now, then I'm going to just go ahead and do this. So what I, according to the makeup and the lights, the effect of the light, there's an highlight here, there's an highlight here, there's an highlight here, there's an highlight here, there's an highlight here. So and underneath the eyelid as well. So I'm going to just brush slightly. Yeah. Do the same for this place. Yeah. And do the same for this place. And do the same here too. And do the same for this side. I'll come to the neck as well. I'll do the same. I'll do the same. So I'm going to come to bone, then I check this layer back. So I'm going to just brush this way, then this side. So I tend to do a little bit of bone on my images, very small. I do more of dodge. So let's come back. Let's delete this visual aid layer and see what our image looks like. So without dodge and bone, with dodge and bone. So the next thing I am going to be doing now is I am going to match this layer into a new layer. Then I am going to come to liquefy because I want to increase the air. So I'll come this way and start dragging that out. And I'm going to press this down because I don't like the way it is. I'm going to pull this out to feel side of the frame. Yeah, okay. So basically that is it. Then I'm going to reduce the face width a bit. Then a little bit of the jaw lines. Then, yeah, okay. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I want to grade my image. So the first thing I do is I come to levels. So with the levels, I'll drag my whites in a bit. So you can see it's getting too much. So I'm going to pull this in. Then I'll come to my curves. I'm going to pull this off. Yeah. So before, after. So the next thing I'm going to do is I have a Milani action which I run for dark skin images. Yeah, so this is what it's looking like. Then I have I'm going to color grade this using one of my favorite skin tone lots from Encourage Photography. So this is it. Then I'm going to reduce it, and I will reduce this as well. Yeah, so this is what we have. Then let me show you before and after. The next thing I'm going to be doing here is I am going to whiten the eyes. So let's zoom in. So I'm going to brush this. So now I notice there are some eyelashes showing in the eyes. So I'm going to come to this layer right here. The layer will match, and I'm going to take that off. So I'll come to clone stamp to reduce the brush size, and I am going to click Alt, and I'm going to take that out. Same thing for this side. First thing, I'll take out these black dots. Yes, then I'm going to take out these ones too. Okay, so this is what we have. We moved from this right here to this. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is the blue filter inside of this Photoshop in early action which I used. I am going to be reducing the filter. Okay, so here is our final image. Here is okay. The last thing, I reduce the opacity of my eye whitening. So that is how we moved from this to this. Thanks for watching today's video. If you find it educating, you can please
like and also share to your friends and colleagues. And please don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you wouldn't miss out on any of my upcoming videos. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.